Hello, I'm Kevin Cherry from Enterprise Ireland. Good to meet you, Paul.
Hi, I'm Nick Marmion from Enterprise Ireland, based here in Mountain View.
I'm Gene Murphy from a company called Redeem and Get.
Alright. So, where do we start with Enterprise Ireland?
Where do you want to start, Paul? I guess you know quite a bit about Ireland, having lived there for a number of years. Probably one of the things that you would best know Ireland for in terms of the tech area is that it's a leading centre for multinational companies. Over 1,000 multinational companies that have operations in Ireland, targeting Europe, Middle East and Africa. A major area in the tech area. Probably what you don't know is, and all the major players out there, so in terms of ICT, Google, eBay, PayPal, LinkedIn are there, among a lot of others. What you probably don't know as well is that we have a huge number of high growth startup companies in Ireland in the tech area, and actually has become a centre, a real hub for startups and for high tech companies that have established themselves there. Many of them born out of people who and created by people who have worked for multinational companies over the past number of decades, a number of years in Ireland, but now have established very substantial business. So at the moment we have over 600 Irish software companies in Ireland with substantial operations there. One of the interesting things that we've seen over the last number of years, over the last 4 to 5 years, is a growing number of people coming to Ireland to establish their startup businesses for the first time. So entrepreneurs coming to Ireland and establishing their business. And that's because of the environment that's there. It's because there's now a real hub of activity and critical mass in a range of areas. So areas that would be really strong would be in the games area, in the payments area, in e-learning, in enterprise software, among the areas that would be very strong. And the type of, I suppose it's probably not that surprising when you think about it, because if as you know from Ireland, is we have a very young population. We still have large families in Ireland, which is one of the reasons why we have a very young population. Over 50% of the population are under the age of 35, and a very tech-savvy type of community, because of Ireland is a small community. It's multicultural, and people look outward in terms of international markets. So we've seen a huge growth in the number of startups that we support. Enterprise Ireland is a semi-state organisation, so we're government funded, and we back over 100 what we call high potential startups every year. New startups that are in the tech area. The vast majority of those are in the tech area, and about another 60 very early stage, like Y Combinator type stage of startups. So about 160 that we support every year, and over 2/3 of those are in ICT area, in new social media software and services. So one of the things that we've done in order to try and foster that community is we've built up a very strong infrastructure in terms of funding available for these companies. So now we have a large number of early stage seed and venture capital companies that have operations there, with over $1 billion in funds to invest in those companies. And we've also in recent years seen some of the major US players come to Ireland and put a footprint there. So DFJ and Polaris have activities in Ireland now. They've come not because they think it's a nice green island and a nice place to operate, but because they're seeing a strong deal flow, because there are great opportunities, great companies in Ireland. And you know, one of the examples of that is Redeem and Get, who have a very interesting story. We've almost a dozen companies here with us this week who have a range of early stage technologies or early stage companies that have very interesting technologies, and I suppose they're a microcosm of the wider community that's in Ireland. So the other thing that's really important for us is that it's got to be an easy place to do business. Forbes ranked us as #1 location in Europe for ease of doing business. And as you know, because you mentioned that you know Kerry well and other parts of Ireland well, that Lonely Planet constantly rates Dublin as one of the best cities in the world which to live. So it's a nice place to live, and that's kind of important too, because if it's not a nice place to live and a good place to live, we won't get developers, we won't get the type of talent that we need for those type of companies. Those people are really mobile and can decide they want to live elsewhere. So happily a lot of them have decided that they want to live in Ireland. So that's sort of a quick pen picture of the environment. Why we're here this week is because, first of all, we're showcasing a number of those Irish companies and saying that we're interested in having more of those type of companies in Ireland. Secondly, this is a very important market for us. It's the #1 export market for Irish companies. And Nick and the team here are focused on helping those Irish companies to build links between Ireland and the US. So not just about people starting business, but also substantial Irish multinational companies who are building closer links with the US and building partnerships with global players. Many people, when they think of Ireland, they think of the creativity, whether it's in music, Enya, U2. They also think of the strong history that Ireland does have of creativity in terms of writers, whether it be Joyce or Singh. But actually those skills and creativity are really important when it comes to social media, and it's part of the success that we have, because that mix of skills and natural cultural ability with software ability, mixing those two is where you get the success, in our view, of companies in the gaming area, in the animation area, in the whole films area. So it's part of what we feel we have to offer and bring to the table. And maybe Nick might want to talk specifically about what we're doing here in terms of our activities down in the valley.
Thanks, Kevin. Just to add to what Kevin has said, in that we've noticed over the last number of years an increasing number of international startups which have come to Ireland, which have established themselves. So part of our rationale for being here this week is to promote Ireland as a potential location for startups which would be focused on Europe. The office we have here in Mountain View, we've had an office here for probably about 14, 15 years in Silicon Valley. The Mountain View office is one of 29 offices we have around the world. We have one in North America, we have New York, Boston and Mountain View, and also one in Toronto. And a large chunk of the work we do is to work with both established and emerging technology companies to help them find both end customers, to help them validate their value proposition, and where appropriate to help them find funding in the US. It's a very exciting area, and we work in a whole range of different vertical markets, both East Coast and West Coast. And Redeem and Get would be a good example of a company that we are working with, and I'd ask Gene to maybe give us a demonstration in terms of the application.
Thanks so much. At Redeem and Get, we've developed a software platform that works with local merchants that run daily deals or voucher-based campaigns. One of the big problems that merchants have is that if they have a quiet time in their business and they think, I'll run a daily deal to fill in that extra time I need, invariably what happens is that they get overwhelmed by the large volume of people that are delivered to their door at the same time. For example, if you're a restaurant, you sell 500 vouchers. The problem is that the next day when those vouchers go live, you're suddenly going to have people calling you, emailing you, walking into your business at the incorrect time. What we've provided is a platform for redeeming those vouchers. Now, you can see here that a merchant sets up on our service, and immediately they're into a very simple three-step process where they start setting up their deal manager, which ultimately their customers will see. It's a very simple process where they can add upsells or questions. So at the point of redemption, when that customer is checking in their voucher or redeeming their voucher, they can get more value from that customer and more value for that customer. Ultimately, we have some tools that make it easier for merchants to find that. They have a very simple booking system that works from everyone from hotels to exhibitions and events to salons to gyms and everyone in between. Very easy to use, very straightforward. It allows people to now schedule customers at the times they really need in their business. It appears in the fine print of their daily deal, as you can see here. When the customer receives their deal, they'll key in this, they'll click on this hyperlink, and they're brought to what we call a deal manager. Now, this is where everyone redeems their vouchers, so suddenly there's no more phone calls, people are scheduled to the times that business needs, and merchants can now start turning one-time customers into repeat business. Equally, where we never thought this would be an ultimate value proposition for us, but consumers, we find that the first day a deal goes live, when the vouchers are released, that over 40% of those vouchers are redeemed between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. So if you're a small local merchant or a local merchant of any size trying to deal with that many phone calls, that's crazy. I mean, consumers also have the benefit of being able to go online. We have 16.5% of our people use our mobile solution when they're on the train to work or they're on the bus, so they don't have to wait outside work at 9 a.m. trying to key in, trying to book in a salon appointment or a hotel deal. So what we've done is develop a platform that makes daily deals profitable and manageable and work for local merchants. And at TechCrunch, we're really excited to announce that we're launching an enterprise version of our software. So now every daily deal site or voucher-based site can now use our service to make sure their merchants' deals are managed properly. In the same way Groupon has Groupon Scheduler, now overnight every company can have that same style of technology with no capital expenditure. And again, the most important, important factor for us in today is that in getting to TechCrunch, seeing what's going on here, seeing the opportunity, we're fortunate that we worked with Enterprise Ireland through their Propel 3 program, all the way through to an accelerator called NDRC Launchpad, where we won the Dublin Web Summit Spark Genius Award. And then from the prize of a venture capital offer that we got from that, of funding, we also worked with Enterprise Ireland. So they've given us access to a huge overseas network to learn more about how we can sell our product overseas. And thanks to those guys and our own hard work, we've been able to get here today to talk to yourself and see what happens at TechCrunch Disrupt. So it's exciting. It's very exciting.